People say, I want to buy gold, but I can't afford $3,400 right now. Is there a way to buy a smaller amount of gold? And so,
Okay, that first button on our own website, InstaVault, you can buy increments as low as $35, 34.51. Hi everyone, I'm back with Alan Hibbard once again, and Alan's got some surprises for me. So hit me with your best shot, Alan.
sounds good, Mike. I thought it would be fun to go through some viewer questions and comments,
Yeah.
especially from a recent video. So, one of the videos that you just put out was called, Is It Too Late to Buy Gold? No, Here's Why. And one of the comments on it was absolutely fantastic. Locutus of Patriarchy says, It's only too late when you can't exchange fiat for physical. Then it's too late. What do you think, Mike?
Well, I think when you can't exchange, yeah, when this thing really takes off, I had Aiden, our graphic artists guy and 3D animator, um, modify a previously existing meme because I thought the meme was just absolutely wrong. They had a $2,000 gold with only one guy standing in the window. Well, we passed 2,000, and this is all major buyers. It's whales showing up. And once we get towards some astronomical right now, nobody owns gold. But my point was, when the crowd comes rushing in, who's going to be selling to them? If everybody is panicked and gold is soaring, you're sort of incentivized to. And this is one thing that I will be trying to work against with our insiders program, is trying to look at numbers and let numbers and not emotion make my decision of when to sell tranches or convert tranches. Right now, we're at this tremendous gold-silver ratio of over 100 to 1. And so it sort of makes sense to convert gold into silver because the silver is super undervalued compared to gold. And then, but there may come a day where instead of selling your silver, you're converting it to gold instead and getting many times more gold than you paid for. When you can't convert it to fiat currency into physical, that's when the price just keeps on going and going and going until it convinces somebody to convert to sell their physical to somebody that has fiat currency that they're trying to get rid of. And so that is sort of the point. The book that we wrote. That's the point of it, is that people do not realize that gold went up 25 times in the 70s from its starting point to the end of the bull market. And this time around, there's 18 times more people around the planet that can buy with 55 times more currency on the planet. What does this add up to? 200 times more billionaires than there was back then. What does it all add up to? It's only too late when you can't exchange fiat for physical. Then it's too late. If fiat actually does lose all, I doubt that it's going to lose all of its purchasing power. As George Gammon points out, the US dollar has all the apps. It's like, you buy an iPhone or an Android because there's a bunch of apps to that iPhone. And right now, we are entering a phase. This trade war that Trump has started, and it is a war, and I'm hoping he's not this dumb and that this is just a negotiating tactic. But to do that, he's got to get this thing done very quickly, because what he has unintentionally done is sparked a new trading bloc. There's an Asian trading bloc coming together that will not be using the US dollar. So it is possible that the US dollar could go to the point where there's just not enough purchasing power left in it to buy gold. But that means gold is reaching an infinite price. So how well are you going to do if you've got gold, or if you've got silver and the silver goes up against gold, and then you sell your gold you trade it for real estate or a business or some other a high dividend yield stock, some other financial asset. You may not even have to go back into fiat currency, because if the fiat currency can't buy physical at any price, then that means the fiat currency is going to zero.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like you don't buy gold so you can make a lot of dollars. You buy gold so you can stop using dollars. Or,
Yes, and to
return them.
protect yourself from the exact scenario that we just laid out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, fortunately, the next few questions we have here are designed around the retail public and some common questions that they have, and to give them strategies to navigate these tough scenarios. So, our next comment here comes from.
Hi, this is just a quick reminder. We're offering you free silver at goldsilver.com as a thank you for choosing us as your dealer. Just click the link below for details.
Our next comment here comes from a chart you presented, how the U.S. Mint gold coin sales are down, and sales are down at many mints for both gold and silver coins. And Ivan says, I think the reason why coin and bar sales are down by the public is because people are really struggling. For example, I just got laid off. I have to sell gold and silver in order to live my life normally. I don't
Wow.
think people who are working are able to put as much to the side either. And this was a very popular comment. It got 61 likes. So I think people can relate to this. Well, what are your thoughts on this, Mike?
I think it is absolutely true. As you know, our viewers, we don't cater to the ultra wealthy. What we're trying to do is help the general public, the normal working man that's trying to become an investor as well, understand what's happening with the economy, precious metals, and how history just keeps on repeating. I absolutely agree with this. The pressure that we are living in this bifurcated society where the middle class has been in a recession now for a long time. And it's because of Ben Bernanke and the new method of economics, the new way that dollars have been created since we started quantitative easing and such, which didn't exist before then. It causes whenever they drop interest rates to zero, anybody that owns apartment buildings and their wealth is coming from real estate ends up doing really well compared to the rest of the economy. Whenever they create new base currency, they're doing so by buying bonds through the bonds and mortgage-backed securities through the primary dealers. Somewhere between 18 to 32 of the largest brokerage houses on the planet. And when they do that, those brokerage houses now are flush with a bunch of cash, and they've got to do something with it. They either buy more bonds or it flows into the stock market. And we showed in the book the correlation to currency creation and the stock market performance. And it was way up I think it was like 0.97 or something like that. It was huge. It was over 0.92, which 92% the same. So yes, this is showing the retail sales going down, is showing the bifurcated society. What's the date that starts going down? Is that the date in the middle there? Is that
2023,
2023?
right here where the red
Okay.
arrow is? Yeah,
Yeah.
2023.
Okay. But, even before that, you can go back to 2022. I'm surprised there wasn't more purchases of Eagles during COVID. But yeah, you can see the lower bars, the minimums, are getting lower and lower from the very beginning of 2022 down. So that red arrow that I drew could even be drawn longer with a slightly less slope, but it just shows that ever since the government started meddling in everything and created the lockdowns, that it's been very, very hard on the average person in the United States, and it rewarded the richest people. And our mission is to try and protect the average person, the normal person, the person that works.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ivan, I feel for you, man. Be careful not to sell too much of your gold and silver. Try
Yeah,
really hard to keep that. So,
at least keep some silver.
yeah,
The silver should, it'll be painful. There's going to come a time where you're going to think that it was wrong, but then silver will do a catch up. So,
yeah. All right. Our next question here comes from Scott Jordan. I've heard forever that the retail public cannot move the gold price. Is that true or false?
It's very difficult. Well, depends on. It is very difficult because you're going up against the bullion banks. Pretty much control a lot of the gold price. But look at what is happening right now. China, the retail public there, is now controlling much of the gold price. If the bullion banks or big whales or somebody in the US goes short during the COMEX and then it closes, and then the markets open in China and other markets, and the price rises, the next morning, those people that went short are looking at huge losses, and they either have to cover or figure out some way of manipulating the price down. The gold market is huge. So it's very difficult for the retail public. You know what? The answer to this is true and false. So when there's not a lot of the public rushing in, then then it's true that they cannot manipulate, that they can't move the gold price. But when so many people try to buy all at once and it overwhelms the big boys, then the big boys lose control, and it is false. The public can move the gold price, and they can move it big time, and that's exactly what happened in late 79. In 70, when gold was rising throughout the 70s, this was exactly the opposite of what the government and the commodities exchange. If you look at, when you study the Hunt brothers, there was a very good book called Manipulation on Trial, and it was a study of the Hunt brothers. And the commodities exchange, a whole bunch of the people that run the commodities exchange were actually short silver. And so they had a vested interest in busting the Hunt brothers. So yeah, the answer is true and false. It's true right now when it's just whales, but it's becoming more false every day as the public in China starts to rush in to precious metals, which basically is in the book. China, it was illegal in the 70s for any Chinese citizen to own or invest in gold. That's the new book, Great Gold and Silver Rush. It's in the book, and we covered that very well. So there was no investors, no participation by China. All of the USSR, in more than half the world, it was actually illegal. And then in the other 80% of what was left, in Africa, everybody was starving to death. There were commercials all the time, fundraisers. South America, Southeast Asia, every place. People were worried about how to eat tomorrow rather than what to invest in. Today, it's a different story with billionaires in all these sections, all of these areas of the world. So it's a completely different world with 18 times more people, with 55 times more currency. This is going to take everybody's breath away when it happens.
I believe it. Here's a question that didn't come from a viewer, but I've gotten from a few people in my life. People say, I want to buy gold, but I can't afford $3,400 right now. Is there a way to buy a smaller amount of gold?
And so, okay, that first button on our own website, InstaVault, you can buy increments as low as $35, $34.51, 1/100th of a troy ounce increments, and you are buying it as close to the spot price as we can possibly do, because you're buying an allocated interest. You're getting that 1/100th of an ounce inside of a kilo bar or a 100-ounce bar. And so these large bars are very inexpensive, and that is the reason, if you were buying an interest of 1/100th of an ounce in a 10th-ounce eagle, it would be $38 for a 1/100th of an ounce instead of $34.51 on the InstaVault price. So yes, you can buy those 10th-ounce Canadian maples or gold eagles, but InstaVault is just so highly tradable. It's being stored at Brinks or one of these other high security vaults that we deal with, where it's insured and there's guys with guns guarding it, and it can be bought and sold pretty much instantly. You are locking in a price instantly. And because it's already been assayed and it's in the vault, there isn't any delay in getting the cash back to you. It's as quick as selling a stock.
Yeah, exactly. So there are fractional products. There's a half ounce, quarter ounce, 10th ounce, and InstaVault is 1/100th of an ounce. So
Right.
so great
And,
options.
and there's InstaVault available for silver as well. And so right now, personally, I would be buying silver. I don't make recommendations for other people. I would be buying silver, watching that gold-silver ratio, and then when it gets down below 30, you might want to convert some to gold. At 20, convert more to gold. Just take tranches and do conversions. And then wait for the Dow gold ratio and the gold-silver ratio as confirmation to make tranches where you sell and you buy some other financial asset that is super undervalued.
Beautiful. And this leads us into our next comment. Triplet Dad 73 says, I'm just starting to buy precious metals, ignoring the price, just DCA, dollar cost averaging, for the next 25 years. And anyone who doesn't know dollar cost averaging, this is an approach to purchasing any investment, such as gold or silver, in which the buyer spreads out their purchases so that the total price paid is less affected by market timing. So you might pick a certain dollar amount per month and then just buy as much of your favorite investment as possible, and you don't worry about the price. So, Mike, what do you think about the DCA strategy?
You've got to consider a whole bunch of other factors. In the next somewhere between 3 and 8 years, we should hit the singularity, the AI singularity. And everything that we're talking about goes out the window. We have no idea what is on the other side of the artificial intelligence singularity, when artificial intelligence becomes self-aware and sort of gets away from us. And so I'm guessing that if he says he's got a 25-year time horizon, that he's fairly young. You might want to consider, this is only a thought, but sacrificing some other things right now so that you can up your dollar cost averaging for the next 3 to 5 years instead of 25 years. I think the peak is going to come before. It's not, the peak in gold and silver isn't 25 years away. I think it's going to come before this singularity, and you want to try and do as well as you can, as quickly as you can right now. But dollar cost averaging is a great plan. I would just compress the timeline from 25 years to 5 years if you could. So,
I have very similar feelings.
Okay, excellent.
Yes. And finally, we have from Mr. Baby Ears. Love your series on money. I share it every chance I get. Your series on money is saved in my playlist, but I don't own physical gold or silver yet. Mr. Baby Ears, what are you doing?
I would make the same suggestions. Find something in your life that you can give up now and say no to. In fact, that's what I'm trying to do, is what can I say no to so that I can get the biggest things in my life, the most important things done. And it does take that prioritization, and it takes a tremendous amount of self-discipline to do these things. Personally, I've sacrificed tremendous portions of my life to achieve the things that I have been able to focus on. And so I would make that basic same recommendation. Try your best. Give something up and prioritize your own future financial well-being over gratification today. And I realize that it's hard.
Yeah, amen to that. Well, thank you, Mike, and thank you, everyone, for your comments, and thank you for watching. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks, Mike.
Excellent. Thank you.
Hi, this is just a quick reminder. We're offering you free silver at GoldSilver.com as a thank you for choosing us as your dealer. Just click the link below for details.